So right now I am delighted to be joined by Bruce Black, one of the founders of Sound Advice, and from our expert panel, Ed Selley, who has not only tested and reviewed hi-fi kit for 14 years now, he's also built it, assembled it, helped design it, written manuals on it, installed it, you name it, he's done it. So if you have any questions for Bruce and Ed, pop them in the chat right now. So thank you both for joining me.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
So, Bruce, there are lots of sources of information on hi-fi and TV and home cinema. There's loads of websites, there's some great magazines. So why do we need another source of information right now?
Thanks, Angela. We started looking at this project a couple of years ago about what we could do that would provide a more rounded type of information for people. My partner and I have been working within consumer electronics and hi-fi publishing for God knows how many years. I started on a typewriter, for goodness sake. And we wanted to try and get people that aren't nerdy, not experts on tech and stuff like that, to be able to give them the information where they feel confident about being able to go and buy something. So we assembled this team of reviewers who, in my view, are the best in the world. It's a bold claim, but I think they are. I trust them. They can write, they can explain. There's nothing better. But the big difference that we've got is that a reader or a viewer on the website can talk to those reviewers directly themselves. They can book an appointment for 15 minutes to say, this is me. Is my situation different to what you're saying in terms of what kind of equipment you would recommend? And then the final part of that is that we will then take that customer who's been through a consultation with someone like Ed and recommend to them their local specialist retailer who will hold their hand in terms of being able to try the equipment out at home or install the equipment. So we're trying to do the whole circle of things really for people.
That sounds excellent, that it's not just another place serving up the information, if you like. There's some listening and interacting going on there, which sounds a little bit like having an expert friend, someone to talk to when it comes to hi-fi and TVs. Although, of course, a lot of real expert friends are very opinionated friends who think they're experts, whereas, Ed, you're one of those real experts. So why did you want to get involved in Sound Advice Live?
Well, when Bruce explained the concept, it resonated with me simply because there is this fear, I suppose is the right way to put it, that you are, in some of the more mainstream work that we do, we are, if you like, speaking to a closed circle of committed enthusiasts. And there is a worry that you're not reaching out to a wider audience. And the premise of Sound Advice, taking what we do, ensuring that what we do is tailored to suit a wider audience than that committed circle, and then helping people directly to join and start to make informed decisions. It just made a huge amount of sense to me. There is that, it's as old as I am, there's that sketch on Not the 9 O'Clock News, the legendary gramophone sketch. Once you finish the live chat, you can view it on YouTube. It's the fear of that closed circle of knowledge being sort of protected and only doled out sparingly and reluctantly. And this is the perfect antidote to that. It's ensuring that people can go to make what are very serious and significant purchasing decisions with the very best and impartial advice that we can provide them.
I'm sure they'll be rushing to watch that Not the 9 O'Clock News show after the show has ended, though, not
Afterwards.
now. But you're right. It's good to have that honesty and that sincerity, and talk to someone who knows what they're talking about. But Bruce, because of this honesty and this, you need a lot of trust in someone. If you're going to spend a lot of money, you need a lot of trust in someone. And of course, if you go into a store that only sells one brand, they're going to recommend that brand. The thing about this is that it's independent, but how can we be comfortable that you are all truly independent?
I think it's such an important part, and it's been there from the absolute outset of what we wanted to do was to maintain that independence, totally maintain the independence from the reviewers. And the guys that we have and girls that we have picked for doing this, I've worked with them for years and years and years, and that's why we've picked them, because I trust them. There's nothing more than that. The independence, we keep stating that the site is different in so much as people like Ed have said they don't want to waste their time writing a crap review of a product that is not any good. So the products that are all recommended. These are the best of the best of the products. There's no payment from the manufacturers involved in it. We're funding the whole website. Our business model is that if a manufacturer wants to pay for the advertising of that product on YouTube, on Google, or on Facebook, or on Bing, something like that, they can contribute for doing that. Other than that, we are funding the reviewers of how much we pay, what we pay for the reviews and everything else. There's no ads on the site at all for that reason. We can't stand advertising on sites or pop-ups or anything like that. So all of that's clean. We've taken all of that out, and we're doing it in this way. But it's a bit like trust me, Gov. I know, but these boys are above all that. That's all I can say.
So Ed, you're a part of that team that Bruce is talking about. And you're quite a seasoned bunch between you, aren't you? I don't know if you know how many years' experience you've got between you, but do you all have your own niches, your own specialisms, and that you tend to work more in one area than another?
Oh, for sure. Obviously, I am not going to be going anywhere near the television and home cinema side of things. I have reviewed home cinema in the past, but I would regard myself as having fallen out of doing that on a regular basis. So we have the cream of the crop for television reviewers. We have the best AV reviewers, and in terms of the width of knowledge across the different disciplines of stereo, so everything from full analog turntable front end, valve amplifiers, and all the way through to multi-room and streaming. Across the people that we've assembled for this, we can cover all of that, and not in I've dabbled in it, it will be fine, as in, we have spent collectively a length of time that I dread to think about, Angela, accruing the advice that the experience that we have to get this done. So yes, we don't just get allocated stuff at random. We are specialists in different fields, and Bruce has really managed to accrue a very decent team of people, and me. So yeah, all good.
Thank you very much. So now we know a little bit more about Sound Advice, and this is our first Sound Advice Live. The website's been there a little bit, and you can book appointments with experts and all that kind of thing. We've got people jumping into the chat and wishing us all good luck with this new live part of the proceedings. Lewis is in the West Country in the UK. Home cinema in general being my thing, not today though, it's too hot, he says. So we're mostly talking TVs today, Lewis, although stay tuned for future shows. You never know what we might take care of on those shows. But thanks for telling us more about Sound Advice, Bruce and Ed, and how it came about. Thanks for joining us today.